Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. In today's video, I'd like to share with you guys my recent collection haul. I picked up some new Pokemon cards to add to my Pikachu collection, and these are absolutely gorgeous. First one up, we got ourselves a 2014 Pikachu Outbreak XY promo number 69. I had to get this card inside of my collection. Super cool Pikachu promo card. Next up, we got ourselves the full art Pikachu from the Master Battle set, a super cool collectible promo card number 400. This card is so rare and a very expensive card, and I'm so happy to add it to my collection. Check out that texture pattern on this card. It's so detailed and it's got a great hollow pattern. You can tell it's a real card just because of that great texture pattern. Only one problem: both of these cards are fake. Both of these cards are absolutely fake. These are fake Pokemon cards inside of a fake PSA graded slab. So I was able to procure some fake PSA graded Pokemon cards. I won't talk about how I got these cards. I highly recommend you don't try to get these cards yourself. I would say don't support the fake graded Pokemon cards. This video is purely to educate you on how you can spot fake graded Pokemon cards. So I was able to procure myself some of these fakes for educational purposes only. I am not going to be distributing or reselling any of these fake Pokemon cards. So let's talk about these fake graded PSA slabs. How can you identify for yourself that this is a fake one? So the bad news is that this card is scarily close to the real one. If you're not a professional collector, if you're not someone that's been in the hobby for a while, this could absolutely fool you. This is so scary. It is very close to the real one. I've shown this card, I've shown this fake PSA slab to some of my friends, and it could have fooled some of them. They definitely took a long time staring at it before they came to the conclusion that it was fake. It is scarily close to the real one. And the scary thing is, if you type in this certification number 762122065, on the PSA website, it comes out with a real PSA 10 certification for a Pikachu Master Battle Set card. So it exists. It's just that this one is not it. This is not the real one. They made a proxy of the real one. That's how scary it is, that you can't trust this certification number, which is what a lot of people in the comment section were saying. All you got to do is type in the cert and it'll probably show up as a fake, which is not true. They just use a real certification number. That's as easy as it gets. So let me show you a real PSA 10 Pikachu from the Master Battle set. With the real one, hopefully it gives you guys some easy indicators on what to pick up on. So I'm gonna have the real one next to the fake. Can you spot the differences between these two cards? I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds to stare at it. And all right, I'm gonna tell you what I spot as the differences immediately. The font and labels are very, very different. If you look at the font on the real one, it's definitely a little bit more clean. I'm really surprised by this because it seems to me the font should be the easiest things for the fakes to get right, but it seems like they got it completely wrong. The font on the fake one is just incorrect. If you look at the number 400, it's way too skinny. It's just a completely different font. It's just not right at all. The spacing, the information, the barcode is just a little bit more blurry compared to the real one. The label is just more detailed, defined, crisp. There's a lot going. If you look at the font of the back of the two cards, with the fake being on the bottom and the real being on top, the issues are just more exemplified. The details on the top label is just absolutely there. The coloration on the bottom one is just incorrect, especially on the center PSA label. You can see how the real one is significantly more detailed. There's a holographic pattern to the PSA label, where the bottom, they just didn't get it right. So I'm really surprised by this. They did a lot to make sure that the hollow pattern was correct on the card. So this is the fake one. If you didn't know, I swapped the two just to see if you guys can spot it. But the fake one, the Pikachu, is very solid. There's issues with it still, but the label was definitely the dead giveaway for me between the two cards. So we have the fake on the left and the real on the right. The labels, we've covered the differences. So let's talk about the two cards. The Pikachu Master Battle Set, the fake one, definitely still a very good fake. It even has the texture pattern on the lightning bolt. Check that out. They even did two different texture pattern on the lightning bolt. So they did a lot to make sure that it was as close to the real as possible. But if you look at the colors, definitely the real one, the detail is more crisp. The fake one, it just looks foggy, hazy. The discoloration is there. The hollow pattern is still incorrect. It's got that weird hue to it all over the card. So there's lots of little issues with the fake one. So once I hold up the real one, the issues become a lot more prevalent, right? It doesn't fool you anymore. The fake one just doesn't look the same as the real one. So the issues are absolutely there. But if you didn't have this card, if you didn't have the real card to compare it to, I absolutely believe that this fake card could fool some of you guys. Both of these cards are fake, especially on these fake cards without hollow patterns, right? Because this is so close to the real one, you would not know. This could fool a lot more people than even this one, just because it's hollow, it's got the texturing. So there's issues with it that I can spot immediately. But for non-textured cards, it gets even more scary, which is why the brand new promo card, which is the Great Felt Hat Pikachu, is being faked so heavily because it's so desirable, and it's tripping a lot of new collectors who the Great Felt Hat Pikachu might be their very first graded PSA 10 card inside of their whole entire collection. So while this video is about spotting the differences between a real Pokemon card, a real graded one, and a fake one, the differences are so close that it could fool some of you guys. And the message that I want to give you is, rather than identifying a fake, which you absolutely should learn, it's still, I think, the most important part is being reasonable and making sure that you never purchase a fake one in the very first place. So how can you do that? Buy from reputable sources, making sure that the seller you're purchasing from is reputable. You're getting your cards from reputable sources. You're making sure that it's not too good to be true. You're making sure that the seller isn't doing anything sketchy. There's so many things that you can do, and using your judgment to make sure that you never purchase a fake in the first place. This is a card that is valued at around $2,000. If you see it on Facebook Marketplace being listed for $200, that's a pretty good red flag that it's probably a fake. You're not going to find someone selling a graded PSA 10 card for 10% of its true value. It's just not going to happen. So before you try to scoop up, use your common sense. Is the deal too good to be true? What is the reputation of the seller? Is this their first time selling a Pokemon card? Do they have a super long story about how their uncle died and now they're trying to sell off a collection that they don't understand the value of? And using general reasoning on where your cards are coming from can put up barriers in place to prevent you from ever ending up in a purchase scenario where you're getting yourself a fake Pokemon card in the first place. However, the fakes are definitely getting very, very good. Not good enough to be the same as a real card, but scarily good still enough. The differences are very minuscule. I pointed out many different issues with the fake ones, including the font, the label, the texturing on the card, the hollow pattern. There's just a lot of little issues with it, but the details are getting better. I've seen older PSA graded fake proxy slabs where they didn't even have this little PSA label at the very bottom, but as you can see, this new fake card has it. So they're getting more detailed and it's getting scarily good. So absolutely, the very first step in identifying a fake Pokemon card is to not have one in your hand in the first place. Never end up with a scenario where you made the purchase in the first place. That would be my absolute best tip, is to prevent that scenario from happening. Don't end up with the fake card in the first place, and you won't have to worry about identifying if it's even a fake. So I know that's not going to be a perfect answer, and the scary thing is the fakes are going to get better. I pointed out issues with the fakes. I think they're going to reach a point where the labels are going to be the exact same as the PSA label, and I don't know if PSA is doing anything to prevent this issue from arising. And they might put a unique hollow foil on their PSA graded slabs. They might put some kind of identifier on their labels or on their case that only they can do, something proprietary. It's going to be a race between the two, between the fakes and the reals. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for yourself. Hopefully this video has been educational. Hopefully this shows you how scarily good the fakes are getting. And thank you so much for watching. I'll continue to give you guys some more details and insights into the future, and I'll see you guys next time.